Today, we are going to be answering some questions. It seems this guy in the upper left-hand corner has 10 questions for atheists in 2022. Now, I know we are a little bit late to this party, but hey, it should be fun. So let's check it out and see what these 10 questions are.
What's going on, guys? This is Ashlee Keyton, reporting for duty in the flesh. How art thou?
I'm good, man. Thanks for asking. I got my wife's Spotify today, and I also got it from my parents, so it's a pretty good day.
I have 10 questions for atheists, agnostics, and people who believe in a higher power but don't, for some reason, want to call it God. Here we go.
This guy reminds me of someone I know so much. I have a friend in Brooklyn who's like, the facial expressions, the way he talks, everything. It's eerie.
First question. Does objective evil exist?
No, thanks for asking.
I'm just waiting on you to answer the question. Number 2. Can you define objective evil for me? Number 3.
Well, objective evil, if one believes in it, is something that is wrong no matter what. And it just happens to be my opinion that nobody really has a grasp on objective evil. You may think you do, but you are wrong. For example, what does it mean to murder? Because one of the 10 Commandments is, thou shalt not murder. It's rendered as kill, or is that the word, rendered? It's kill in American English, but murder is what it was originally. Now, murder is, unjustified killing. So what is justified killing? Let's say your neighbor is a big sinner, big heathen. Do you have the right to go over and just kill him? I would say the answer is no. Well, what does the Bible say? In many cases, the answer was yes. Think about the global flood, for example, or after Moses himself found people worshiping the golden calf. What happened then? 3,000 people died. This kind of thing is pretty common throughout the Bible. So objective evil, as a standard, does not seem to exist in any religion or in the real world as far as I can tell.
And this one's my favorite. Have you ever honestly tried Jesus? He's all right. We're not talking.
No, I have not, because I don't think Jesus was anything but a cult leader in the Middle East a couple thousand years ago who was killed for planning to overthrow the Roman state and install himself as a dictator. So, no, I have not.
Talking about the biblical, how the world came to be about. The Big Bang.
That was a weird transition, wasn't it? Is that a question? Did the world come about with a Big Bang? The answer is sort of like yes, because all the stuff in the universe originated ultimately with the Big Bang, and so did natural laws that allowed it all to happen. But the Earth itself did not originate from the Big Bang. The Earth itself originated from a protoplanetary disk inside of some kind of a nebula inside of the galaxy. These things came a whole lot later.
Or God. What makes the most sense?
I tell you what doesn't make the most sense. What doesn't make the most sense is some dude creating the universe. That's the one that doesn't make the most. The most sensible answer is not the one where the guy says, "Let there be light," and there is light. That's not the most. How often have I been able to say, "Let there be light," and there is light? Unless I got my hand on a switch, that is not likely, is it? But how did God do it? Well, he just said it. He didn't have a switch. He just, boom, poofed it into existence. So I think in a sense, aren't they both kind of like Big Bangs, except one just is a naturalistic event? See, the thing is, we know natural things happen naturally. We know they exist because we can see them all around us. We can observe them. When it comes to God, we have no indicators of that. We have no indicators of that whatsoever. We do have indicators of the Big Bang. Like, we know the Big Bang happened. There is ample evidence for it. So why should we think it's anything but a natural process when it seems like natural processes are all we have in this universe?
Logically. Consistently. Theoretically. Cosmologically.
Yeah, it's still the Big Bang. Look at how smug this guy looks right now. He's like, yeah, I'm killing him. I've got a great point here. They're gonna bow down to Jesus now, buddy. But like, no, dude, you were wrong. Sorry.
Number 5, is believing in God an inconsistent view, or do you just not like it?
What do you mean inconsistent? I mean, it's inconsistent with what we know of the universe, that the universe seems to work in a naturalistic way. If we're talking about the Christian God or the Muslim God or the Jewish God, the Abrahamic gods, or if we're talking about like the Hindu gods, stuff like that, if we're talking about all of these gods, then these gods are inconsistent with the universe. I mean, Hindus, at least some of them, believe the universe, mankind, is trillions of years old. That's inconsistent with what we know of the universe. Christians, fundamentalists, and I guess more Orthodox Jews and some more fundamentalist Muslims believe that Adam and Eve were real people. That's wrong. That's false. That's incorrect. These things are categorically incorrect. As far as we can tell, there is no divinity interacting with the universe, and nothing supernatural happens within it. Everything we know of happening in human history that we can show for sure to have happened is naturalistic. We have claims of the supernatural, but not one, not a single one, substantiated with evidence or testing. That's a big problem.
Number 6, do all humans understand morality the same way?
Well, no, I think it's very hard to say that any two humans understand morality the same way. I think we all have very different moralities. I mean, Christians, they'll agree on certain points, like murder is wrong. But where they draw the line on what murder happens to be is very different. Some Christians think the death penalty is wrong because it's murder. Some Christians don't. Some Christians think abortion is wrong because it's murder. Some Christians don't. People draw the lines in different places. A lot of Christians think that it's wrong to be gay. Some don't. A lot of Christians think gay marriage should be illegal because it's wrong to be gay, and some think it's wrong and still think it should be legal. These lines are drawn all over the place. It turns out just having a religion, even if you follow the book, you don't have a complete guide for morality. So I would say, really, everybody has their own unique sense of morality. There are some things we can generally agree on, like murder is wrong. I think I can agree, as can the Christians, that murder is wrong. But we draw the line in very different places. I, personally, am opposed to the death penalty because I think that's murder. But I am also in favor of abortion rights. I'm not in favor of abortion, but I am in favor of abortion rights. So you may say, well, what's the difference? But a lot of Christians are going to say, well, that's murder. I disagree.
And some just choose to act against that good morality?
Well, I mean, there are like sociopaths and psychopaths who may like understand in some intuitive way what society thinks is wrong, but still do the wrong thing. I mean, there are people who know something is wrong and do it anyway. I think the average like heroin addict is like, well, this is wrong because it hurts me and it hurts other people, and they still do it because they're addicts. Like, I think that is the thing that happens.
And number 7, how can we know who is right?
Evidence. You need evidence. If you have evidence for your claims, really good evidence, you are probably right. If you have none at all, you are probably wrong. The deficit of evidence is a bad thing for the Christian position, or the Islamic position, or the Jewish position, if they are fundamentalists like the Christians. This is a bad thing for your position.
How can we possibly know who has the correct answer?
Evidence. I mean, we can, again, the Big Bang is a fact. We know that for a fact. We can prove that happened. Evolution is a fact. We know for a fact that evolution happens. We can prove that happens. God, we have no evidence for whatsoever. We have assertions in some books. Look, buddy, you got a book, okay? I don't know what religion this guy is. I don't want to assume, so let's just say the Christians have a book, the Muslims have a book, the Jews got a book, the Hindus got a book, Buddhists got books, Zoroastrians got books. Everybody's got a book. And if you want me to believe in your book over all those other books, you better have a really good reason for me to believe that book. I have not seen a single good reason for any one of those books.
Number 8, and I know the answer to this question, but I want to know your answer. Does the Bible speak for every person who calls themselves a Christian?
No. I would say they speak for themselves. I mean, don't they? Now, the Christian, the fundamentalist especially, would say the answer is yes, but I would say the answer is no in any event. People speak for themselves. You may think you're doing God's will or whatever else, but ultimately, you are the one doing the thing. So I think every man speaks for himself, as it were. Every man, woman, non-binary person. We all speak for ourselves.
Let me explain. You have certain people that act ungodly in my view, and do some things that I would say God never told them to do, that say they're Christian, that believe in the Bible. There was actually something brought up the last time I did.
I would say God doesn't tell anybody what to do because God doesn't exist. God isn't telling you to do it. God isn't telling them to do it. You're just doing it yourselves. And if you think you're getting messages from God, depending on what kind of messages you're getting, I would say get help. Like, for example, if you're hearing the voice of God, get help. If you are seeing God in your room at night, get help. If you have these feelings that God is telling you this is right or wrong, you are wrong. That is not God. That is you. You are telling yourself that. There are, like, I guess you could say, internal monologues, internal dialogues. You are essentially talking to yourself. You get feelings. Those feelings you perceive as coming from God are coming from yourself. Everybody has that feeling. That's not God. That's you. I have that. When I'm doing something that is wrong, that I know is wrong, I have this feeling that gnaws at me. That's not Jesus. That's me. That's my own subconscious sense of what is wrong, gnawing away at me. Christians, of course, perceive that as being God. It is not so. Sorry to say.
10 questions for atheists, and someone responded, and they said that a lot of Christians worked with Hitler, and, a lot of Catholics, and
Correct. At the time, Hitler was elected with 44% of the vote, which may not seem like a lot to us, but that was the highest percentage of the vote anyone had gotten since German democracy came about. 44% of the vote in a country that was 95% Christian, mostly Protestant. The Catholic Church, not big fans of Hitler generally speaking, but a lot of Catholics did vote for Hitler anyway. His main base of support would have been Protestants. Most atheists were communists.
Those are not Christians. But
how do you know that? This is no true Scotsman. How can you say they're not Christians? I mean, they thought Hitler was a defender of German Christian Protestant values. They thought that. They thought that's what Hitler was because Hitler framed himself that way. Now, he really hated the Jews, but he really did frame himself as the Christian defender of Germany, and that's why they supported him. They thought they were voting for the holy man. Maybe not he himself was holy, but he did support the holy position. He was the one intending to keep Germany safe from the threat of godless communism. How is that any different than like Donald Trump, who has overwhelming evangelical support? Granted, now I'm not saying Donald Trump is Hitler. I'm just saying he's a bad man, like Hitler. Now, I think the bad is on a different level. Trump is not Hitler. I want to be clear about that. He is kind of like a proto-fascist, but he's not like full-blown Hitler yet. He could be. We have yet to see. But my point is just this. Christians, they vote for whoever promises to defend Christians a lot of the time, and Christianity from godless communism or whatever. And this never changes. How can you say they're not Christian? That's odd. That's odd to me.
That's my view. What would you say? Let me calm down. Does the Bible...
You look perfectly calm to me, but you do make a lot of like really stupid faces. This is what I call the Jim Carrey-fication of comedy. See, people think funny face, is really funny humor. I can be really funny on the internet by doing stupid face. No, it's just bad. It's just bad. I don't even think Jim Carrey was funny when he did it. I think Jim Carrey is one of the least funny people and most cringy people to ever exist. And when you do it, I lose respect for you. So stupid faces, gotta stop, man. Gotta stop.
Bible speak for every single Christian? Does every Christian represent the Bible? 9. Is murder against the innocent wrong?
Well, murder is by definition unjustified killing, so yes, I would have to say so.
And why?
Because I have empathy. See, I would not want to be murdered, and therefore I would not want you to be murdered, random man. It really is that simple.
Turn all of these questions to me, and I don't mind giving my answer. But please do not dismiss the question. Number 10, what is your confirmation and foundation for truth?
Well, I mean, evidence is a good place to start. If a claim has evidence, it's a pretty good claim. Now, I am what you would call a hard skeptic. I am a very skeptical person. Let me just draw a contrast here. I love my mom. We are good. We're good friends. We watch a lot of TV together. We watch Star Trek, which she misses the point a lot, but we watch Star Trek. It's really great. She has really good taste in movies. but she is a fundamentalist conservative and a terrible, terrible conspiracy theorist. I pointed out something to her a few days ago that blew her mind a little bit. I pointed out, well, we all know you're a paranoid conspiracy theorist. That's obviously something that you just are. But here's something you probably hadn't noticed. You're only a paranoid conspiracy theorist about things that don't interfere, or about things that interfere with your biases. So you don't look at Christianity through the conspiratorial lens, or you don't look at Donald Trump through the conspiratorial lens, or his allies. It's only things you don't like, you already have a bias against, that you look at conspiratorially. That's the difference between a hard skeptic and a conspiratorial type of skeptic. Because yes, I do think in some senses that conspiratorial thinking is a type of skepticism. It's just a very weak one, not a comprehensive one. It's the kind of skepticism that says everything is wrong and there has to be some reason why. Now, I know the reason why. The reason why is the world is rudderless, as Alan Moore said. Nobody is in control. But conspiracy theorists, they look at how bad things are or whatever's happening in the world and they say, well, it's got to be some globalist, Illuminati, Jew. Terrible conspiracy. What I'm saying is, hard skeptics go a lot further. I am skeptical of everything. I want proof of every claim. I'm not believing anything until I have really good evidence. It seems like people like my mom, no evidence is good enough against their biases. But me, I change my mind all the time according to the evidence, as a person should. I take a very scientific view on things. Science is always changing because science is always taking in new information and new data. I think that kind of hard skepticism is just about the most important thing that we have. I think the things that we're prone to believe are the things that we need to examine the most carefully. When I think something is true, when I believe something is true, I do my best to find the reasons that it is not. And I think that gives me a really good grounding for what is true and what is false. Will I always be right? No. New evidence will come in at times that overturns how I think about things, and that's fine. That's exactly how it should be. I have changed a lot over the years, and I intend to continue to do so. That's the way it should be. I think that's all of this guy, just Ashlee Keyton. Or wait, yeah, Keyton? Keyton, Keyton, yeah. Just Ashlee Keyton, that's an interesting name. I think that's all of him for now. His facial expressions just about drove me mad. So thanks for coming, thanks for being here, and I hope you have a good one.